the one that we had selected. And we're just going to go through it step by step slowly as we do this. Now you want to be able to set the list controllers and then start to wire everything and hook everything together. So the next step would be creating a position list. We'll call this just pause list, and then we'll create a position list. And again, in the help files, that'll tell you that that's a position list controller, and it'll return if I evaluate it with a shift enter on that line. It'll tell you that that is indeed a position list controller. So from here, what we want to do is we want to take the control object, add the position list controller, set it up with the 0 track, the animation track, and make sure the animation track is active, so the second track is active, and then we name them as such, 0 and animation, so they match all the other controls based on the way that my pen rigging util script names everything. Again, you can make up your own naming convention without a problem. We'll set that in here. So there's a position list. So con.position.controller equals pause list. And then you need to, we can start setting names on them as we go down them. So the way you do set the names on them is the position list. And this is why I've made it a variable. I don't need to keep referring to con.position.controller to get the position list. I've created a variable of the position list here, and I can keep just accessing the copy of the position list controller over and over again. So with the position list that I've got here, I can actually say dot set name, and what you do then is you list which controller in the list, which integer, so it's the first one, and what is the name you want to give it. So we'll just call it 0, and that will set it to a name of 0. That first controller will be the initial controller, because it'll it'll keep the initial position XYZ controller that was on the object when it was initially built. So it'll put that in there. We're going to name that 0. Next thing we want to do is we want to be able to, in the available track, which will be the second track in this case, we want to add a position XYZ. So pause list dot available, and you can see it gives a value of 000. Dot controller is just giving us an empty controller. Basically, it's just a placeholder controller in a sense that's there that can't do anything at this point. Equals position XYZ, and that will the position XYZ return a position XYZ controller. So we've got that in there. And now we want to be able to set the second one active, and we want to be able to set its name. So pause list dot active equals 2, and that will set the second track active. And then we want to set its name, so the same thing again, pause list dot set name. So we're setting, and the second one, and this one is going to be called animation. So there's the position list set up on the actual control object. Let's just test our theory and make sure that it all works properly. I'll make sure that the point helper is actually picked this time. Run it. If I go and check the track view, we should have a position list controller on this now. And if I were to check the properties of it, we've got a 0 and an animation, and the second one is currently active. So that's been set up nicely on there. Now with the next step is going to be to connect, with wire parameters, everything together the way we need it to be connected up. So we need to do a couple of things. We need to find out which controller is currently available on this, because this again I'll just show this in our nav here. It's already been wired to several things, so we're actually wiring up to the available track. So we need to know where that is, and that's with the dot available for this list controller.